So hello friends, in the last video we have seen the structure of a typical mining company's integrated quality manual. So this is what we have covered on that day. If you refer my previous video, clause wise details were covered: company's profile, leadership, planning, support, operations, right? All these things were part of the that video. Then performance evaluation, improvement, record the format, okay, record formats and annexure. Now today we'll talk about more detail about this quality manual. So this is example of a mining company's quality manual. It is open source, available on the company side also. So I don't take any credit of this manual. I am using it for the education purpose. So we'll put the definition of various terms and acronyms which are being used. So this shows the complete list of definition and abbreviation used in this quality manual. So you can see this complete list over here. Okay, IMS is integrated management system is there. Then we have definition of policy. Policy, we say that it is intention and direction of an organization as formally expressed by its top management. This is very important, top management. Process is set of interrelated or interacting activities that use inputs to deliver an intended result. So this is how the complete list of definition is there. Then what conventions we have used in this quality manual, that is also being mentioned. Now coming back to the section by details. So here section 4 talks about introduction, about the company, functional specialties of the company, that is another thing. So all details of the company are there. Okay, right here it has the next 4.1 is company and its management system. So it is mapped to the clause 4.1 of ISO 9001, ISO 14001 and ISO 45001, and details are there that the top management of company has decided to implement an integrated management system in the company which is compliant with requirements of all these standards. Okay, and accordingly the internal external issues relevant to the purpose business which are likely to affect the ability to achieve the intended outcomes of the integrated management systems are determined, given in the annexure 3. So annexure 3 we will see later on also. Then 4.2 talks about needs and expectations of all interested parties of the company. So it mapped to the 4.2 of 9001, 14001 and 45. Like this the clause numbers have been given. So needs and expectations of interested party, the list is being given, and sometime it is good to give link to some other report also. So here the link to the sustainability report has been given, where the more details of means interested parties are being mentioned. Then the scope and coverage is being mentioned here. The complete scope of the integrated management system is being mentioned here. Coverage is being mentioned here. Okay, then various areas and units of the companies are being mentioned. Okay, all the detail, the broad functions, what broad functions are there, means what company does really. So details about mining and all these things are there. Then other support field unit details are there, which include the complete list: engine repair, transport repair, electrical, machining, structural, okay, planning, material management, purchase, civil, finance, personal, central maintenance, computer systems, electrical maintenance, electrical and mechanical, and training. So all the functions names are also there, along with the other support functions which are there, like healthcare activity, other services. Then there is training institution also, the detail and names are also there. Then the functions at the this corporate headquarter at Sambalpur, about that company. So these are the name of the departments, name of the functions, starting with civil, contract management, corporate planning. Everything is being covered over here, including legal, quality control, right, production coordination, safety rescue, survey, vigilance. Everything is being covered over here. Integrated management system and processes. So this section talks about processes and map to 4.4 of various standards and 4.1 also. So it says this manual describes an integrated management system complying with the requirements of all these standards, all the international standard, and then details are being mentioned. You can refer it. I am not going into the word by word or line by line reading of this. Just wanted to show the structure of this, and the process flow of each of the jobs are being described in this section. So section 4 we have seen. Section 5 is all about leadership. So leadership and commitment 5.1 is there. So it talks about top management's leadership and commitment towards the integrated management system. They talks about accountability. They ensure that policy, objectives, and all these things are in place. Then it promotes the uses of the processes, right? Then it ensures that it achieves the intended results. All the details about leadership commitments are being mentioned. Then 5.2 talks about management policy. What are the detailed management policies and mapping to section 5.2 of ISO 9001 and other standards, and 4.3 of ISO 50001. Then 5.3 talks about the roles, organization roles, responsibilities, authorities. All these details are being mentioned. The overall functionality also being mentioned over here, right? And various head of areas, management, MR. This is very, very important section. It talks about the management representative. So what is the responsibility of management representative? First line is to understand corporate coordination and licensing for the all above, to control the apex documentation, to manage internal audit, liaison with all external interested party matter pertaining to integrated management system, provide the necessary support to chairman cum managing director for the review of integrated management system as may be necessary, and to ensure the promotion of awareness of the requirements of the customer and all other interested party within the company. And finally, and very, very important, is to ensure that the integrity of integrated management system is maintained when the changes are planned and implemented. So all these details are being mentioned over here in detail. Everything is there. 5.4 talks about consultation and participation, because this is an industrial setup. So involvement, participation of industrial workers are very, very important. So all these details are being mentioned over here. Section 6 talks about planning. So planning 6.1, actions to address risk and opportunity. Risk and opportunity are very important section, which is part of 6.1 of ISO 9001, ISO 14001 and ISO 45001. So it talks about the how the risk with respect to internal external issues are being mapped, then how we should take care of those risks, what action we should take. So risk and opportunity related to conformity of the product and services. So details are mentioned here. Risk and opportunity related to environmental aspects and health and safety hazard, environmental and other health and safety reviews. Everything is being mentioned as a part of this section 6.1, like environmental aspects, then your environmental and health and safety review, right? All these details are being mentioned over here. Documentation of review results are being mentioned, identification of legal and other obligation, updating of environmental health and safety review results. Okay, all these details are being mentioned. And this is very important because we are talking about here that leadership commitment and risk and all these things. So here it says that chairman and managing director ensure that well planned integrated management system established, implemented and being maintained in the company. The processes elements of the integrated management systems are depicted in the annexure which is being given. So all these details we will see in the annexure also. 6.2 talks about management objectives and planning to achieve them. So how various objectives are there, what are their targets, what are the action plans and achievement, all these things are being mentioned. So yearly plan, management policy, last year achievement, performance, all this financial operation, business requirement, technological option, everything is being covered as a part of management objectives. All these details are being mentioned from A to L. All these details are there and everything is mentioned, like certain and energy objectives are also being mentioned. Then 6.3 is planning for the changes. Whenever any changes are required in this IMS, integrated management system, the modification are done in a planned manner by the nodal officer of the company with due consideration to the purpose of the changes and their potential consequences. This is very important. The integrity of the element of this integrated management system, the availability of resources, the allocation or the reallocation of the responsibility and authority. 6.4 talks about the emergency preparedness and the response, because being a industrial setup mining company, this is very important. They have to ensure that for emergency they are prepared and what type of response they are going to give. One section is there which talks about energy planning. Complete block and sections are there, how they are going to conduct energy review, which is mentioned as a part of 6.3, and how they are going to baseline the data for all this energy conservation and everything. 7 talks about the support, talks about 7.1 talks about the resources. It is mapped to 7.1 of ISO 9001, ISO 14001 and 45001. So all the resources which are required, be it human resource, machines, IT tools, system, communication system, everything is being mentioned. What type of an environment is required for smooth operation of the processes, then workplace condition, operational safety, because it's an industrial setup, so operation safety is also very important. How they are going to monitor and measure the resource planning, what type of resource, how many are required, continuous tracking, everything has to be done. 7.2 R is all about competence, mapped to 7.2 of ISO 9001, 14001, 45001, and then the clause 4.5.2 of ISO 50001. So for this competence means we need resources, manpower, human resources to which are competent enough to carry out the required mining operation and related operation. 7.3 talks about the awareness. So all the person doing work under the control of the company are aware of the following. So all they should know the rules, regulation, policy, system, procedures, all these things they should know. 7.4 talks about communication. Okay, how they are going to communicate downward and upward, both communication through various channels which are being mentioned here, and it's being mapped to clause 7.4 and clause 4.5.3 of ISO 50001. Now 7.5 talks about documented information, so how they are going to maintain all the documentation which is being mentioned in this section. So integrated management system, operational manual, maintenance manual, reference document, work instruction manual, standards, rules, regulation, how they are going to maintain, how will they maintain master copy, control copy, distribution list, everything is being mentioned over here. And then it talks about when those changes will happen, when the update will happen, who will conduct that review, what are the changes we are going to do, every detail is being mentioned. And it talks about the document ID, location and signature, date, everything has to be maintained. And how they are going to maintain the hard copies, how they are going to maintain electronic copy at a central place, access will be provided to the relevant stakeholder through the server and centralized place, and it will be access control. All the electronic copies are access controlled. Okay, so this is being also being mentioned. If some obsolete documents are there, how we are going to, company is going to dispose of, that is also there. Reapproval of document, like in case of IMS manual, who will review it, who will reapprove it, all these things. Then system record, operational record, project files, other files, office files, everything, complete list of records, how it will be maintained, soft copy, hard copy, retention, how many years we have to retain those records in line with the rules, regulation, applicable rules and regulation, and all these things. How the disposal is going to happen, talks about that also. Now section 8 is all about operational. So operation talks about 8.1 is operational planning, mapped to 8.1 of ISO 9001, 14001, 45001 and other standards 4.4, 5.4 of the ISO 50001. So operational planning, all the details are being mentioned, and which are the processes which they are going to follow for the operational planning are being mentioned. Then the requirements for product and services. In this case, what is the product, which is the mineral or coal and all these things, who are the major customer, who are the minor customer, what is their need, what is the requirement, what is the product requirement, everything is being mentioned here. Then what arrangement we are going to make, all these things are okay, all these things are being mentioned as a part of 8.2. so requirements for product and services only mapped to ISO 9001, only clause 8.2. now design and development of the product and services, this is also being mapped to ISO 9001, clause 8.3 and clause 4.5.6 of ISO, right? So design and development of product and services, how the mine design will happen, how the development is going to happen. And 8.4 talks about control of externally provided processes. External means any, the company has engaged any suppliers or vendor who are providing services, how they are going to control it, that details are being also being mentioned over here. So through tender, they take the services, they call for the tender, they take the quotation and finalization of contract and tender is being done. 8.5 talks about production and service provision in map to ISO clause 8.5 only. Release of product and services. 8.6 control of non-conforming output, so how they are going to control it. So major NC, minor NC, non-compliance, non-conformity, everything is being mentioned. So non-conforming products are being identified, non-conforming products are being reported, non-conformities are being handled, so complete process is being given. Then the corrective, how the communication will be done, what is the okay, what actions, long-term action plan, short-term action plan, corrective action, preventive action, and monitoring of the action plan, everything has to be done. Section 9 talks about the performance evaluation. So 9.1 is monitoring, measurement, analysis and evaluation, mapped to 9.1 of ISO 9001, 14001 and 45000, and other standard clause 4.6.1, 50001. So how we are going to monitor, measure, track, analyze? So whatever activities, operation are going on, those have to be monitored, measured, analyzed, and continuous evaluation has to be done. So accordingly, management will conduct reviews. They will ensure that everything is in line with the corporate guideline, processes and planning. 9.2 talks about internal audits. So internal audits are being planned every calendar or financial year